Hi there, BookTube! My name is Christina and today I'm here with a bit of a different video. You know that every now and then I like making a video about traveling and being a reader altogether. So this time I decided, since it's summer and a lot of people are planning their vacation or something like that, or even if you're not even if you're not planning a vacation, you may actually do it even if you're staying in your home country. It can be actually fun and enjoyable to do. I decided to discuss with you the things that a bookworm may do in order to plan his or her vacations. So, the very first thing, I will go through three phases, let's say, and I will give you a couple of examples from my personal experience. The very first thing is to actually ask yourself if you've read any book set in that country. Why is it important? Because if you ever read something like that, then you will already have in mind some places that you may want to visit. Like, for example, if you've read something about London and you've never been there, or if you've read something about Paris and maybe something like set in a particular road or a particular shop that you may want to visit just to live yourself the experience of your beloved characters, then that's an important starting point. So just try to think if you've read anything set in that country. And if you've not, don't worry, because when you will go there, chances are that if there are English bookshops, if you're fluent in English, or if you know the language of the country even better, then in pretty much all of the shops you will find a section dedicated to the place that you will visit. So you will be able to buy a book that is set in the country that you're visiting, and it will be like bringing a piece of that country with you to your home. And I think that it's always lovely. I always try to do something like that. That's the reason why I always allow myself to buy one or two books during a travel, because I'm not a huge postcard person, so I rarely rewatch those, and photos are fine, but those are memories that like fade until you will not see the photo again, while books, well, if I put it on my shelf and I know that I bought it in a certain place, I will always look at it and will remember that I bought it in that place, with that person, for that reason, with that kind of mood. And I don't know, I just think that it's lovely. If it looks like I'm crying, I just sneezed, so sorry. However, I just wanted to share with you that for this first question, for example, this year at the end of June, I will going for a holiday in Croatia. No, Croatia is in Italian, Croatia in English, and it's my first time being there, and I've planned a week-long trip. We will go on the road with a car, so we will travel a good bunch of the country by car, and I'm starting to plan visiting there, all of the places, the cities, the tours, the things to do. And I always try to keep in mind my bookworm side, because I need to be satisfied in my bookish heart. Yeah, that's silly to say. Let's move on. And I've actually never read anything set in Croatia. So I hope that with this travel I will find something that I will be able to use for my 12 and 12 project, for example. That will be nice. And yeah, in my case, I've never read anything set in Croatia, and I hope that I will find something soon. The second question that you may ask yourself is if there are iconic literary places. And by that I mean like places where people, writers or readers used to gather, like for example all of the pubs or the cafes out there in the world where just famous, big, huge literary names used to go. Like for example, I remember in my case when I went with my best friend to Trieste here in Italy, we visited this bookshop slash cafe where actually a lot of famous writers used to go and write their poems, their novels, they just essays, everything. So that was lovely to be there and to breathe that kind of atmosphere. So something like that. Just ask yourself if there are places like that you may visit, and if you're willing to visit them. Of course, you're not forced to do so, but I always think that it's lovely just to understand a little bit more about the culture of a place, to see where famous and clever and illuminated kind of people used to work and to chat and to lead their lives. So something like that may actually be useful. And the third question that you may ask yourself is, of course, are there libraries or old bookshops that you may visit? And this is a very important one. Usually when I travel, I always try to visit at least one old historical kind of library, because I think that those are amazing and beautiful. Like, for example, the Trinity College Library in Ireland, it was just breathtaking. And there are much more. There are a lot of libraries that are quite hidden gems because they're situated in, like, for example, monasteries or churches, something like that. So you may discover a lot by searching just specifically old libraries in a place, and I'm planning to do exactly that during my visit to Croatia. And the other one is, of course, about historical bookshops, because yeah, bookshops, they are all beautiful and meaningful for us, but when a bookshop is historical, then it adds just so much more, because you can breathe the history of a place. You can find old books, new books, and usually those are places that are just run by very special people, because they're part of the history and the culture of that city. They may help you. They usually know that what they are selling. So it's very important to visit that kind of places. One, for example, the most famous one on Instagram probably is Shakespeare & Co. in Paris, and that's an example. And now for my visit in Croatia, I'm searching for things like that in Dubrovnik and Split and all of the other cities. So this is one suggestion that I give to you and that I actually always try to follow myself while I'm planning my visits. Of course, I don't plan my holidays around bookshops, but if I may stop at a bookshop while visiting other places, then why not? Of course. And these are my suggestions, but as I told you, you may actually do it even in your home town or country. You don't have to go like abroad to do so. Maybe if you've never searched for things like that, you may do it during this summer, staying at your place and discovering something new about your hometown or your region or your country or a city that is nearby, and just to discover new things that are book related. I believe that it's a huge plus for us readers, because we love stories, we love books, but usually we love books even as a whole physical product, and the smells, the atmosphere, the libraries, the sounds, all of that jazz. So this was it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, even if it was a little bit different, but since I'm planning my vacations, I thought to share with you my thoughts simply. And let me know down below if you actually have any recommendations, any suggestions about how to plan a trip around books, or what you do when you want to visit or buy books in a certain country, what kind of criteria you're following. So let me know down below. I would love to know your opinion about this matter. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye! Ciao!